Welcome to your Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Elizabeth DeRazio. We are again at MJ Harrington Jewelry, a family-owned jewelry store in Newport, New Hampshire, marking 3 generations, serving the needs of the Sunshine Town and the Lake Sunapee region. Today we'll head over to Wilmot, and our very own Laura James will introduce us to the Bark and Bray Sanctuary Farm. Charles Glidewell will provide us with a Thanksgiving reflection. Rick Stockwell will introduce us to the process of starting bonsai trees. And we'll close with some gift-giving book suggestions from Katharine Nevins. But first, these messages from other good businesses that join MJ Harrington in underwriting today's show. Remember, buying local is an important way to sustain your community and the local programs we love.
This program is supported by Main Street Bookends of Warner for books, toys, games, cards, gifts, and a gallery of local art. Main Street Bookends of Warner.
Can I go to the sleepover?
I want you to promise me something. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, "No thanks, not my thing."
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Elizabeth DeRazio, coming to you from MJ Harrington Jewelers in Newport, where they provide great customer service and perfect gift-buying solutions. When a child is mistreated, an option is foster care. What happens when an animal is mistreated? That's what we learn about this wonderful program in Wilmot from our very own Laura James. Laura?
Well, we are here today on a beautiful autumn day at Bark and Bray Farm Sanctuary with Jen Taylor. Hi, Jen.
Hi.
Oh, thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for coming.
Oh my gosh. First of all, the setting is spectacular. I'm sitting here looking at the trees, and it really is beautiful. But this is a very special place. Tell us about it. Its formal name is Bark and Bray Farm Sanctuary?
Yep, Farm Animal Sanctuary.
Okay. Tell us about it.
So we are a sanctuary for farm animals that specifically have a past with abuse and neglect. Our mission is to adopt animals from rescue organizations because a lot of times they are overfull, they have a lot of animals that are hard to place, hard to find homes, and we can be part of the solution by taking these animals that have had a rough past and providing them a forever home.
So it sounds like you're taking them from situations that really were not positive. They were kind of sad, and you're going to those organizations and bringing them here.
Yep, that's primarily what we do, but sometimes we have some special cases with animals that have been local and found abandoned, like one goat that we have.
Oh, that's what brought me here. We'll talk about Sybil coming up in just a few minutes. She's a wonderful story. You have nothing but good stories here, and we'll definitely get some. But tell me about the facilities. I'm looking around. I see different paddocks. I see different barns. What kind of animals do you have here? And
yeah, so we have a variety. We have our miniature herd, which includes 2 miniature horses, 2 miniature donkeys, a potbelly pig, and now 2 goats. so they share the big barn, the space we have here. The goats get to interact with the rest of the mini herd when they're in their grazing pasture. So we let everyone have grazing time as much as they're able and allowed to with their needs. And then we also have the cow herd. We call them the misfit cow herd because there's 3 different cow species that we've brought together. They were all abandoned and alone in different scenarios, and we were able to bring them all together to create this unique little herd.
Oh, that's wonderful. I know, and as you're talking, I'm looking out at them, and they really are. They're all unique, different breeds.
Yeah, exactly.
And they all live together. You said something there that was really important. They're special needs. It's not like you say, oh, yep, come live here and just go walk around and eat. A lot of them have special dietary needs, and you have to treat them. And tell us about that.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. So we have a few elderly horses. We have 1 elderly mini horse that requires a special diet. So she doesn't have any teeth, so she needs special soaked food, and that's the only thing she's able to eat. So we have to provide that to her. And then there's a variety of supplements that the animals are on to keep them healthy, and a few of them even need medication as well. Our big dairy cow, Maxime, who's 2,000 pounds, needs basically a giant Aleve every day, which is in the form of 36 tablets.
I know Aleve well.
Yeah.
what? It really helps her function.
Yeah, yep, she's a little, uncomfortable and stiff from arthritis because she is a big girl and
Sure.
she's getting older, and that's pretty common in dairy cows. So,
Right.
But that makes her comfortable and happy and allows her to graze in the field and be with her friends.
Right, which is, I think the last time I was visiting here, Arlene was taking a nap and we were trying to get her to say hello. and she was so happy and so content. So why did you and your husband, Ben, why did you start it? What brought you here?
Well, the pandemic was a big catalyst for us to really explore, our purpose and how we want to make a bigger impact on the world. But our mini horse Queen Bee was really inspirational. She is one of our worst cases. She was alone for 30 years.
Wait, alone for 30 years?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
the poor thing.
She's 35 years old, and as you know, mini horses and horses in general are herd animals, so they really need companionship. So she was alone.
That's
and
torturous for her.
Very torturous. But didn't have any care either. So she never had the proper dental care. So therefore she has no teeth now. But she never had friends. So we found her and brought her here, and she met our herd with our mini donkeys, and we had one other mini horse at the time. And these were her first herd mates and friends ever.
How wonderful.
And that really helped her blossom, and she's really turned into this wonderful horse.
She's beautiful, by the way, yes.
Yeah.
And the finish of her life will be a positive,
Yes.
happy one.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
a very big thing to do. To take in these wonderful animals. And what was your personal motivation? Was it that, or why was this important to Jen?
Basically that. Basically seeing the quality life of these animals improve. I've worked in healthcare for a very long time, caring for people with quality of life, and I really find it, fulfilling to really bring that to any creature that needs a great quality of life.
Living soul.
Yeah, so bringing that to these animals is really fulfilling at the end of the day.
We're so grateful for that. And we're going to be talking a lot more in upcoming segments. But you know what I love is your social media presence. I wake up really most mornings, and I just go on like most people on social media, Instagram or Facebook, and you have wonderful stories. You really do. We're so grateful for that. And I can't wait to tell the story of Sybil. We'll have that coming up here at Bark and Bray Farm Animal Sanctuary. And stay with us. We'll be back.
Thank you, Jen, for your efforts to provide a home for mistreated animals. Next week, we'll meet her husband, Ben, and learn how you can support their efforts. When we return, Pastor Charles Glidewell from the First Baptist Church will provide a few words for us to chew on during our Thanksgiving celebration. But first, please keep watching our Yankee Chronicle as we hear from another of the fine businesses that are involved in making this show happen. Please stay with us.
This program is supported by the Innertown Record, your weekly hometown community newspaper covering the Kearsarge-Sunapee Sunshine region of New Hampshire. The Innertown Record.
Hi, I'm Jim Culhane. I'm the CEO of Lake Sunapee Visiting Nurse Association. We're coming up on some very important dates for Medicare enrollees. Specifically, it's the Medicare open enrollment period, which begins on October 15th and runs through December 7th. A lot of people stick with traditional Medicare. It's what you've been paying into for a considerable period of time. It's robust. It travels with you. You can choose your own doctors. But we realize that there are Medicare Advantage products, may offer some unique perks as well. You can talk to an insurance broker. You may also contact your local ServiceLink office because they have a program to help you navigate the variety of products and find a match that might be best for you. It's important for you to be aware that there are some Medicare Advantage products that may not cover services that are important to you. Services such as home health, which is a crucial part of this continuum of care necessary to help people stay home. Do your research, talk to the people who know and may have some answers and provide guidance. Reach out to ServiceLink as they have a program that can assist. But in the end, make sure you choose an insurance that provides the range of services you may feel you need in the future. The last thing you would like to do is to find out that you need a service that is either not paid for or not covered and find yourself with an unexpected bill after services are provided.
Welcome Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle, the who, what, when, and where show of the Lake Sunapee region. I'm your host, Elizabeth D'Orazio. Today we are again coming to you from MJ Harrington Jewelers, where they have a tradition of building lasting relationships based on trust. Speaking of traditions, as we head into the holidays, let's hear from Pastor Glidewell on giving thanks.
Hi, it's always great to be with you. At our house, we just got a new fence. It actually comes off of our side door, and we got it for our little puppy Harlow, who's very energetic and loves to run around, so it makes it a lot easier for us when she wants to go outside. We open the door and let her out, and of course the fence is there to protect her. Now, she would love to run out and run away, which she's fond of doing, but we've got her fenced in. And again, the fence is there to protect her. And I've thought about that this week. I've thought about that fence, and it occurred to me that that's one of the functions of God's law. It's there to keep us hemmed in. It's there to protect us. And we often think of God's law as trying to limit us or trying to take all of the fun out of life. But God's law is there to keep us on the right path, and it's there to protect us. And you know as well as I do, very often we find ourselves outside of the fence. We've messed up again. We've broken one of the commandments again. We lost our temper. We treated a person badly. Perhaps we've lied. Perhaps we've cheated or stolen. And again, there we are outside of the fence. It reminds me of something the Apostle Paul said, who wrote most of the New Testament. He talked about this problem of the thing that he wanted to do, the good things that he wanted to do, he didn't do. And the bad things, the things that went against God's commandments that he didn't want to do, he says, those are the very things that I find myself doing. And he actually calls himself a wretched man. That good fence is there for his protection, but time and time again, he kept going outside of it. And it's also pointed out that it's not that there's anything wrong with the law. The law, God's law and his commandments, those are good things. Those are the things that lead to life. The problem is with us. The law is spiritual. We are unspiritual. And so there is God's good fence, if you will, his commandments, his law, again, meant to lead us to life, meant to give us the good life. And we find ourselves outside of it again and again. And so what do we do? And that is where Jesus comes into the equation. It says in the Bible that what the law was powerless to do, again, not because there's anything wrong with the law, but the law is powerless because we don't have the power to keep it. Well, what the law was powerless to do, God did by sending his son, Jesus. And whenever we place our faith and our trust in him, we are back in the fence, so to speak. We are reconciled to God. In fact, on one occasion, Jesus said, I am the gate, and whoever enters through me will be saved. There is one God, and there is one mediator between God and man. It's the man, Jesus Christ. And whenever you place your faith, your trust in him, you will experience a whole new life, a life of goodness, a life of love, a life of joy, a life of peace. Hey, we want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving from all of us here at the First Baptist Church. And if you would ever be interested in attending one of our worship services, we would absolutely be thrilled to see you here. So we have two services on Sunday morning. We have a 9 o'clock service, which is our traditional service, and then we have our contemporary praise and worship service at 11 o'clock. Would love to see you at one of those. The Lord bless you and keep you.
Thank you, Charles. Let's not lose sight of why we celebrate the wonderful holidays this time of year. When we return, Yankee Chronicle has part 2 of Rick Stockwell's Bonsai Primer. Stay with us from MJ Harrington Jewelers in Newport, where their commitment to exceptional craftsmanship and thoughtful customer service go hand in hand with a dedication to serving the community.
This program is supported by H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Their full-service model offers oil delivery, propane, motor fuels with design, installation, service, and maintenance of all types of oil, gas, and alternative energy systems. as well as air conditioning, water conditioning systems, and their highly trained and friendly staff will assist you throughout the process of buying, installing, and servicing a full line of energy products. H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating.
You're looking at the #1 cause of lung cancer. That's why the Surgeon General issued this warning. Now you're looking at the #1 cause of lung cancer for non-smokers. That's why the Surgeon General issued this warning. Radon is an invisible radioactive gas that seeps inside your home from underground. Whether you smoke or not, radon can cause lung cancer. Protect your family. Have your home tested. Call 1-800-SOS-RADON. Radon problems can be fixed.
Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle, coming to you from Newport's very own MJ Harrington Jewelry. I'm Elizabeth DeRazio, your host. Last week, Rick Stockwell introduced us to his bonsai workshop in Sutton. This week, he'll tell us about the tree dwarfing process. Rick?
So this is the entrance to the bonsai area. This is a torii gate, which they use in Japan for entrances to gardens. It's kind of the doorway to the bonsai area. Well, let me start by showing how I start trees. Oftentimes, I take cuttings and put them over heat, and then when they take root, I plant them in the ground and grow them on and develop them. Or I collect them from nature, from quaking bogs where they're naturally dwarfed, or mountaintops where they're naturally dwarfed. And then I grow them on to develop them and fatten the trunk, refine the branches, keep the roots pruned. Horticulturally, when you take a plant out of a nursery pot and you've got these fat circling roots in the pot, those create a lot of fat branches, long and without much branching. So you want to mimic what you have in the pot by making a lot of fine roots and root pruning it every couple of years, and then you'll have more fine branching, and that's part of the dwarfing process. You also want to kind of put them in a limited growing experience, but you water twice a day when it's warm in the summer in a well-drained soil so that the roots can breathe, but you also want to keep them moist. So you use a soil that drains well but holds moisture. I try and mimic nature. If it's a tree growing, deciduous tree growing in a field, it wouldn't have a lot of movement and character. You look at it more for the leaves and the structure on the foliage and the fall foliage. A tree like this has a little more balance and movement because in nature it might compete it might have to grow off to the side to compete. This might be a tree growing on a mountainside and cascading down. You can see this might be a tree. This is more of a literati design. The Japanese literati were famous artists who did a lot of calligraphy, and this to me looks like calligraphy. So mimicking nature, the tree species kind of determines the form and shape that you're going after. So in Japan, most houses have a tokonoma, which is an alcove in their house. It's kind of the focal point, and they'll have three elements. They'll have a plant, a bonsai or a flower arrangement, which they call ikebana, and a companion plant that would balance off, and a scroll, a Japanese scroll, and they're usually seasonal. So this is my outdoor tokonoma. And this is a good example of a deciduous tree that's grown mainly for the foliage and the shape, fall color. I've been doing this for 55 years, and some of these trees I've had for that period of time, and this particular one, this forest group, I probably spent over 200 hours on this forest group. When I started, they were this tall, and now they're over 6 feet tall. Bonsai can be small, medium, large. Bonsai means tree in a pot. So I do have some trees in my landscape which are trained and wired. but they're not bonsai because they're not in a pot. So some of my trees I've been training for 55 years, and they were already 30 years if I collected them from a mountain or whatever at the time. So in Japan, there are trees that are passed on from generation to generation, and they could be over 300, 400, 500 years old. Trees are the oldest living thing in the world. So they can survive and be passed on to generations, and many of these trees, when I go, will be passed on to people who will maintain them and hopefully improve on them and keep them alive.
Thank you, Rick. Next week, he'll show us the many examples of his endeavors, including his oldest bonsai. When we return, Katharine Nevins will give us a few books that might fit neatly into someone's stocking. But first, these words from another local business that has yours and our interests at hand.
This program is supported by Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire since 1997, with roots going back much further as the country press, AccuMail, and the home of the Kearsarge shopper. Echo Communications.
The American Red Cross blood supply is at historically low levels this winter, and we're facing a dangerous situation. Hospitals and patients are counting on donors to get the blood they need. Make a life-saving appointment today. Visit redcrossblood.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS.
Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle, coming to you from MJ Harrington Jewelry, where they cherish the special moments celebrated with jewelry, and they're honored to share life's milestones with you, their customers. I'm Elizabeth DeRazio, your host. Katharine Nevins, the owner of Main Street Bookends in Warner, has a few ideas that might help you solve that gift-giving anxiety. Katharine?
First of all, we're extending our hours in December. We're going to be Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. for those days. We have a big event coming up. It's our annual Warner Hometown Holiday, and that's going to be December 7th, which is a Saturday, all day. And here in the bookstore, we're very, very happy to have Rebecca Rule joining us. She is so much fun. If you haven't met her or seen her in person, you really need to. She's done so many books over the years, and her latest one is called New Hampshire Trivia. And she has collected some amazing stories. And when she's with us in the gallery from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, she's going to run a trivia game with us. And I can't imagine anything more fun. She's hysterical. She's so much fun to be around. And so she's going to be doing that down in the gallery. She is the author of so many wonderful books that you probably are familiar with. This is her children's book called The Iciest, Diciest, Scariest Sled Ride Ever. This is just the sweetest story. You probably know her for this wonderful book called Headin' for the Rhubarb, a New Hampshire Dictionary. Well, kinda. She's also done Reminds Me of a Funny Story, a memoir, how-to, and compendium on Yankee humor. This woman has collected stories for years from New Hampshire people. An early book for her was called The Best Revenge, short stories. This is a fun one. She's also done Live Free and Eat Pie, Storyteller's Guide in New Hampshire. And she's done 60 Years of Cutting the Cheese. She's done Could Have Been Worse, 2 stories, embellishments, and some outright lies. She's going to be with us that Saturday from 2 to 4, so please come. I wanted to tell you about some other local authors in particular that have some wonderful new books out. Mary Lynn Ray, one of my favorite children's authors. And this is her newest one, When You Find the Right Rock. It's just the magic that every child feels, and actually every adult feels, as they collect that special rock and where that rock will take them. And David Elliott, who is a well-known children's author, lives right here in Warner. This is his latest, Best in Show. This is his wonderful poetry. He takes, I believe there are 20 different dogs that he zooms in on. Very, very funny poems about them. And then they collected 20 different well-known famous illustrators to do each individual dog. We have from Matt Forrest Essenwine, who also lives here in Warner. He's done many children's books. This is a brand new board book about a farm, a tractor, lots of dancing. Can't go wrong with this one. We have Cy Montgomery. She has so many books, and she's been a best-selling author for so many books, Soul of the Octopus and so forth. These are two brand new ones for her. Of Time and Turtles, Mending the World, Shell by Shattered Shell. And then this one's particularly fun for me, What the Chicken Knows, because I raise chickens, and chickens are pretty amazing. We have the local biologist, New Hampshire biologist Eric Orff, and this is a collection of his stories over the years of his working in nature with animals and working to conserve and preserve as much as we can here. We have another Concord author, Stephen Curtin. He's done this sweet Journey to Layman, and this is a fantasy for young adult, middle grade children. And the fun part is that it's inspired by the White Mountains, because he spent a lot of time there with his children. So you read this and you can imagine the White Mountains while you're reading it. Very fun. And then here in Warner, we have the wonderful Covered Bridges of Warner, brand new. This is a fun way to celebrate Warner's 250th anniversary with a special collection of our bridges. And then the Historical Society just came out with the republishing the second volume of the history of Warner, 1880 to 1974. And we have so many books in every category. We're here to help. We have so much in terms of gifts and toys and books. Of course, a gallery of over 40 local artists we're very proud of. And here to help for the holidays, and come on by and visit us. And as my brother always said, something wonderful is happening in Warner.
Thanks, Catherine, for all of these suggestions. And again, I remind you that there's more than books there. Thank you to our good friends here at MJ Harrington in Newport for hosting us. Their commitment to exceptional craftsmanship and thoughtful customer service go hand in hand with their dedication to the community. Our next Yankee Chronicle will be back right here, as David has a few thoughts on making this holiday season special for your favorite someone. We'll hear about the annual Warnertown Holiday Celebration, and Rick Stockwell will wrap up our visit to his bonsai shop in Sutton. Ben Taylor will let us know how you can help their efforts at Bark and Bray Farm Sanctuary. Our Game of the Week every week on Sunday and Monday is at noon and 7 p.m. You can find it on Comcast Channel 8, TDS 13, and 1013, and at ycnnow.com on demand. This week we'll feature the Kearsarge girls soccer team hosting Stevens. Check the program schedule at ycnnow.com for the most up-to-date information on games, Yankee Chronicle, and specials. Join us again next week at the same time for another round of the who, what, where, and when of the Lake Sunapee region. I'm Elizabeth D'Orazio. Keep the holiday spirit in your hearts.
This program is supported by H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Their full-service model offers oil delivery, propane, motor fuels with design, installation, service, and maintenance of all types of oil, gas, and alternative energy systems, as well as air conditioning, water conditioning systems, and their highly trained and friendly staff will assist you throughout the process of buying, installing, and servicing a full line of energy products. H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire since 1997, with roots going back much further as the country press, AccuMail, and the home of the Kearsarge shopper. Echo Communications. Main Street Bookends of Warner, for books, toys, games, cards, gifts, and a gallery of local art. Main Street Bookends of Warner. The Innertown Record, your weekly hometown community newspaper covering the Kearsarge Sunapee Sunshine region of New Hampshire. The Innertown Record.